Holy cow. Oh, boy. Well, it's good to get that one out of the way. It's not disrespect to Francis Marion. I probably gave the guys one day off too many for Christmas, but they've been great. They deserved it. They practiced real hard the last 2 days, and I thought we played defensively real hard in the first half, but we didn't have no umph on offense. And if you don't have your legs and your pop, it's hard to shoot the ball. And I thought that impacted us some today. But it's, our guys have been great. Their preparation have been great. Their unity is great. And I think we'll be better tomorrow than we were today and get back into the swing of things.
Frank, again, the opponent comes out in the zone. You guys maybe don't react as strongly as you could. Is it, especially when the three-pointers aren't falling, do you got to keep constantly telling the guys to just attack, and drive the lane?
Yeah, it's once again, that's why I said I probably gave the guys one day off too many. We would have had one more day, then we would have had more time to prepare for zone. But it is what it is. We started off a little sluggish against it, and then we started attacking it. Once again in the first half, our lackadaisical play on offense leads to some bad turnovers, and that's got to stop. It just got to stop. It's just bad basketball plays right now. Our turnovers aren't like, let's drive a seam and try to throw a lob and the guy misses it and it goes out of bounds, or the guy slides in and takes a charge. Our turnovers is passing the ball from the wing to the point. Just kind of getting trapped and putting the ball over your head and just kind of throwing it across the court into the stands. That has to stop. Those aren't good basketball plays. And that's the one thing I'm not concerned, but my ears are starting to perk up about a little bit. It's the turnovers that we've had here for the last 4 games.
In the grand scheme of things, though, as you're getting ready to head into SEC play, obviously got Memphis on Saturday. How big is it to get so many players some valuable minutes in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, that's at the end of the day, Brian, it's so important. Like the first shot Gregory took, I mean, holy cow. That might be the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's the first time I put him in a meaningful place in a game. Then he settled down, and then he made basketball plays. That mean he made every shot. He made mistakes. But he's grown a lot over the last 3 weeks or so. And his enthusiasm, his disciplines have allowed me to trust him some in practice, which then allows me to put him in a game. And he's been real positive, and he earned the opportunity. He like, if I were to play him in a game tomorrow, I think he'll be better than he was today because of exactly what you said.
Chris Silva seemed like he played one of his better games, filling up the stat sheet. And what did you see out of him tonight?
It's when the game is just open and up and down, and there's spacing and attack mode is the strategy, he's real comfortable. When the game is slow, like attacking the zone, and you have to go against their zone, and you have to understand the little nuts and bolts of how to attack a zone, he's not there yet. But his enthusiasm, his aggressiveness, it's real good. He's got to rebound better on the defensive end. He's still, like most college freshmen, I don't care how many box-out drills you do for 2 months, they tend to stand and watch. And what happens in college when you stand and watch on the defensive side, the guy coming offense or rebound then initiates the contact. If you take the hit rather than give the hit, you're off balance. If you're off balance, you can't rebound. And he's got to learn how to, we call it first blood. He's got to learn how to draw first blood. He's got to initiate the contact so then he can be on balance, which then allows him to rebound.
Frank, 2 things. You've spoken before about how Chris needs to play with that kind of energy. When he does that, do the other guys feed off of it?
Yeah, I mean, he can make the plays that just lighten up your building, whether it's a block shot or a dunk or just whatever. He had a dunk in practice yesterday off an offensive rebound that was incredible. I mean, he has the ability, because of that athleticism and that enthusiasm he plays with, that he can make a play that makes everybody feel better. your fans, your crowd, even the officials will feel better when he makes some of the plays he makes. And you know, we got to stay patient and keep teaching him for him to continue to learn. You know, and that'll come with time. Experience fixes all those problems, but he's got the charisma and the enthusiasm that you got to have to be able to grow. He's got that.
And secondly, how did this game get scheduled? Did you want this kind of game in between St. John's and Memphis? Does this go back to any kind of relationship with Gary, or just how did this happen?
Yeah, no, it's real simple. By us playing in the exempt tournament, we play one more game than teams that don't play in exempt tournaments. And with that extra game, I understand. I get the whole rhetoric and the whole people that'll sit in whatever office somewhere and they'll say, "Oh, it's, you know, you don't play Division II schools." You know what? Every one of those kids will talk about this opportunity for them forever. It allows us to write that school a check, keeps the money in our state. It's a great experience. I mean, I understand if we all played 26 games and we couldn't schedule one more in 26, it'd be hard to squeeze one in there. But I think it's something that's right. It's something that's a positive thing. It's you know, it's a great experience for them. Like we spoke about earlier, it gives us a chance to play some guys that maybe hadn't played as much over the last 3-4 weeks and get everyone in the right frame of mind. We didn't try to schedule it now. It's just that when we were scheduling, like that's the last game that we'll schedule. And once we fit everything where the dates work for everyone else, for the other games I'm talking about, then we'll find the window that best fits to play that game. That's last year was Coker. I don't remember when we played that game. You know, this year was Francis Marion, and I'm big. We got to grow basketball in our state. We got to grow it, and you grow it by giving those kind of, you know, the schools like Coker and Francis Marion and Aiken, giving them opportunities, letting their teams come into our buildings, because a lot of these schools have a bunch of South Carolina kids on their roster, and it's I think it's a win-win. I think it's an awesome deal.
Frank, not just Silva, but Cobb and Gregory come in the final, I think 8 to 10 minutes of the first half, really kind of put you guys in front to stay. Just how encouraging was it to see those three guys on the court mostly together and helping to impact the game?
Yeah, Eric's been great. Everyone else was sluggish after 4 days off in practice. Eric was the other way. He showed up energized. He was jumping and running. I was like, holy cow, what'd you eat back home? And his energy allowed him to get to the line 7 times. He hadn't shot 7 free throws. He hadn't shot a free throw, I don't remember since when, because he had stopped playing with energy. Well, today he played with energy. Now, he didn't make any, and that's something he's got to grow on. He allowed those first 2 to miss to impact every free throw he shot the rest of the game. That's something he's got to grow from. But, you know, him, Jamal, Chris, to Marcus when he came in the game at the end, just played with energy, man, enthusiasm. And that's what you need from those guys. They got to come in and give you that.
Y'all never trailed today, and it didn't really seem like Francis Marion put up much of a run later in the game. Is that expected against an opponent like this for your team, or is that an encouraging sign, especially when you know you say the team kind of showed up a little bit sluggish?
They were averaging like 89 points a game. You know, they can score. It's the biggest myth out there is that Division II teams are not good enough. Truth be told, a lot of Division II schools have a bunch of Division I guys on them that end up there for whatever reasons. Guys that don't want to sit out when they transfer. Guys that were in junior college and just couldn't get the requirements that are necessary for Division I standards. But you end up playing against some good Division II players. I mean, they've won 7 games. You know, it's I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'll say this: if our roster's not better than theirs, then the gentleman that's sitting next to you needs to be calling me into his office. That's just plain and simple. That's to be as honest as I can be. No, not that guy back there. I'm not going to his office. Okay, not him. He was pointing at himself over there. You know, but at the same time, they get good players. They you know, Aiken's been right there for national championship. You know, it's Francis Marion. They're 3 guards. We're all Division I guys. You know, you can argue what level, whatever. All those guys can play at a Division I school. I mean, it's I think one of them transferred from Savannah State, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's going to be all right. It's good. It's a good game for us. Good game. It's good. It's good for the state. It's good for the kids. It's good for the programs. It's good for our team. It's good for everybody.
Frank, you probably answered this for these guys before, but one game before SEC play starts, how do you feel about your team right now?
I like them. They prepare well. They help each other. They compete. I thought Mike and Sindarius today were phenomenal. They didn't play well as far as point production, but they were phenomenal as far as their personalities in the locker room, their voices while they were on the bench. I told some of the guys, here's two guys that played like 4 minutes each in the first half. They never shut up trying to help their team. Some other guys need to act that way. You know, in timeouts, how positive they were, how engaged they were on what we needed to do to attack their zone. It's because of things like that. You know, I like our team a lot. Does that mean we're going to win a game? I have no idea, none. But I got to tell you this: I got no problem going to play with the guys that are on our team. Thanks, guys. Same to you guys.